I do want to switch gears to a movie that came out earlier this summer, flopped at the box office, but now streaming tells a different story. Can you explain Lightyear?
Lightyear opened in June of 2000 of this year with mixed positive reviews. Most people that saw it liked it. So you're like, oh, it was underrated. It wasn't underrated. The people that saw it liked it. But anyway, it opened with $51 million, which was an underwhelming performance. It ended up with 118 domestic, which was terrible for a Pixar movie. It's second only to Onward. It's second worst only to Onward, which obviously had its release cut short by COVID. It made $226 million worldwide on a $200 million budget. And then it came to Disney Plus after approximately 47 days. And according to Nielsen, which is just one metric, but it's a good one, because if for no other reason than we've been following them for 2 years, so we can compare and contrast. The film earned around 1.3 billion minutes in its first 5 days. That means broken down, around 13 million subscription households on Disney Plus theoretically watched the 105-minute picture in its first 5 days.
So how does Lightyear streaming ratings compare to other streaming-only premieres?
It's on par with the 1.33 billion minutes earned by Netflix's The Adam Project, which was a streaming original. And opened on a Friday, debuted on a Friday. It's on par with the 1.26 billion minute launch of Sing 2 on Netflix, also on a Friday. But that was also after the film had earned $405 million worldwide and had pretty strong PVOD, VOD, EST, and DVD numbers.
So
it opened below Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which opened with 1.43 billion minutes, or about 11 million complete viewings of the $126-minute picture, and way below the year's biggest streaming debut, which, according to Nielsen, this is all according to Nielsen, of Disney Plus's Turning Red, which was supposed to be in theaters in March, got pulled from theaters, got sent to Disney Plus, and a 1.7 billion minute viewing, which translates into around 18 million viewings.
Lightyear did pretty well on streaming.
Yes. Now, for me, the big takeaway, is twofold. Yes, there are people that might have seen that film in streaming that otherwise waited for Disney Plus. That's not good. However, the film was a disaster. I mean, even Cars 3 in 2017 made about $350 million. Even The Good Dinosaur, which made $128 million domestic and let's say under $350 million on a 200 budget in 2015 did better than this.
So it's safe to say no Lightyear 2 is what you're predicting?
No, unless it has incredible legs on Disney Plus and JPEG decides to go for it. Although what we're probably going to have, which I think was the idea in the first place, was having a Disney Plus episodic based around Buzz Lightyear and his new pals. Because if you've seen the film, and I like the film, I think the film works as a 3-star entertainment, but it does kind of reek of a backdoor pilot for a Disney Plus television show. The big takeaway is this. The concern was that while we know that films that do very well at the box office, like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, like The Batman on HBO Max, like Sing 2 on Netflix, like Uncharted on Netflix, which also debuted on Netflix on the same weekend after a $400 million gross in worldwide grosses and pulled $1 billion in million minutes, we know that theatrical success does not harm streaming success. But if Lightyear is an indicator, that also means that box office failure does not harm streaming success, in that Lightyear was a much publicized box office bomb. And yet the film still earned about as much on the first week of Disney Plus as it otherwise would have earned had it just been a Disney Plus original. What that means is that as long as you're aware of what you're spending to market a theatrical release, because that is not cheap, there is perhaps no disincentive to send a movie like Hocus Pocus 2 or Disenchanted, which are premiering on just Disney Plus later this year, into theaters and just let the chips fall where they may. Now, I know it's too late for those films to be sent to theaters. I'm just using those as two high profile examples.
This 90s kids would love nothing more than to see Hocus Pocus 2 in theaters. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely, because the film is a generational nostalgia favorite.
Of course.
Weirdly enough, I think it made more money in theatrical re-release than any of the 2020 re-releases.
Wow. That makes sense though.
Ghostbusters.
Everyone loves Hocus Pocus. But Scott Mendelson, thank you so much. And I can't wait to break down Don't Worry, Darling, Hocus Pocus 2, hopefully soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time.